there is three things, like there are three eras I'll talk about. Yeah, the first era, which is traditional API one, in which what is happening, when we receive any input or when we receive any request, it will query the DB, or it will perform the business logic which we return into our service layer, and it is predefined, and it will give us predefined output. Then the another shift is ML integrated. What happened into that, when we receive any request or when we receive any inputs, it will call our statistical model or machine learning model, like supervised unsupervised machine learning model, which is traditional machine learning models, and then it will return the prediction, and we can use classifier also. It will classify the data. But the major shift which currently we are adopting is agentic AI. So what is it? When system receives any input, LLM will reasoning it. So first of all, LLM term is new for some people. So anyone from audience want to share what is LLM? Neural network and those stuffs are like very well versed, the person who is working into the data science. But let me decode it for you. So let's consider that LLM as a black box, where you pass any request or when you query it, then it has already billions of parameters on which it is trained, and there are corpus of data which is used for that. So when you query any answer or when you query the prompt, then it will check into that and it will answer for the particular question. So this is our LLM. So in this agentic AI system, what is happening, when you guys send any request, it will receive that, then LLM will reason that, it will call tools like APIs and data rag if needed, and then it decides what to do, and then it just not give the particular prompt like you do this or that, but it will do that by itself, and it will give you like, this is your question and I have solved that, and I have done this part for you. So this is where the major shift is. It will not just define, it will not just give you output based on what you define, but it will decide by itself and then it will generate the output. So this is the shift behind. Now from audience, for the backend engineers, like what are the common components in backend we use? What are the common components? How an API is built? Any? Yeah, classes, good. Yeah, then SQL queries are like databases, correct? We have controllers, yeah. So the transition table, which nobody showed you, like we already have these things earlier, but it is just transitioned, like how we think, we need to change that. Your simple REST API endpoint is nothing more than agent entry point. Your database is your knowledge base, and then for Docker container, it is your model serving unit. And we have error handling exception, everyone knows that, like if we miss any edge case, then it will crash, but we need to handle it very smartly that it will not throw the exception. Yeah, so it's nothing more than better fallback or retry logic. So this is what about, like we need to shift our mindset from what we build to what we can build in a better way. That's whole point is. Yeah, then I told you my journey, like, so one day I was just sitting and I also write Medium blogs. So for my blog, I thought, Aneri, let's build something which can useful for you, and in that thing you can integrate machine learning and AI also, and just mix your backend thing with together. So I have designed one scalable and production ready system, so which can query your prompts, and then it will return the response in a very smart way. So let me walk you through the architecture. We already seen the building blocks of it, like our database is not more than a knowledge base, then our controller entry point is the same as your agent entry point. So these are building blocks. Now let me walk you through the whole architecture. Yeah, so here we have our Java Spring Boot backend microservice. So there is one question also arise here. I don't know if you guys get that question or not, but like this Python is this machine learning and agentic AI stuff is already done using Python. So Aneri, why you use Java and microservice, Java and Spring Boot as your backend? You can use Django also. But then when thing come, like if you step into the industry, everyone mostly use Java and Spring Boot for the backend development. How many of you are like developers, software developers? Okay. So I want to know some tech stack of you guys. Can anyone tell me? Okay, it's for front end, correct? Okay, yeah, for the back end, yeah. So when you step into industry, like if you guys can have a chance to work with like product based company or like many more places. At there, Java and Spring Boot is used as a backend engineering for the most part. Why? Because Java is more reliable and more secure, and there are most of the root causes are done for the Java and Spring Boot system when it comes to industry and production. So we can find a good solution when any crash look back down goes. Yeah. So for that, I have used Java and Spring Boot as a microservice. Then for Python, for machine learning, I have used Python and Fast API. So what is Fast API? Fast API is one of the interface which connect your backend system through the model or agent. Here, through Fast API, you can connect your machine learning model or LLM also. Yeah. Then one question is arise here, like what if we want to scale it to production? Then here what I have done, I have dockerized it. I have dockerized machine learning and machine learning microservices and Java Spring Boot microservices together, so it can work like API way. And then everyone knows like CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment pipelines. So I have used GitHub Actions for CI/CD. And then we all know we can use Postman and Swagger for testing the API, and then your application is ready to integrate from front end perspective. So this is the architecture which I have designed for my use case. From here, this system looks like similar what we have doing in real life or in production, correct? But the main entry point is your Python and Fast API ML microservice, where all the intelligence stuff is going on. Then let's dig in and see how this flow happen. Yeah, so here when user requests anything, then your Spring Boot will handle all the authentication, logging and orchestration stuff. Then it will redirect that request to your Fast API. Then your fast API is your interface, which will act as a mediator between your request and your agent, your large language model. Then what happens when you query that model? It will return the prediction. It will return the result, which is decision driven, and they will also give you the confidence score. Like I am this much confident that the result of this question should be this. Then your fast API will return that response to Spring Boot and user get the final answer. See, the system is the same, but we only have added one layer into that. So we can modify it and make it decision driven. Yeah. Now I already get that background of like what is how we can improvise our system. So that background is a foundation for agentic AI. Now I want to ask you guys, what is agentic AI from your perspective? So we get some wonderful answer from audience, which is almost correct. So let me just go by that. Yeah. So in simple term, if I would say that agentic AI, so it is powered by LLM tools and structured workflow. So it is the system which is designed that way that it will autonomously execute that task itself. Yeah. So this is it. And one more thing, it is capable of multi-stepping reasoning and decision making. Now let me walk you through what is inside that loop. Yeah. So that agentic AI should be goal driven, should be decision driven. So for that, first of all, we need to define one user goal to that. Then what happens? It will plan. It will plan according to your goal, and it will think like, how can I do that? It will plan in single step that what are the call of action they need to do. Then there is a RAG. RAG means in simple term, we can say that retriever augmented generation. What is it? It is like predefined context what we give to any LLM or system. Then there will be tool layer. If there will be any third party apps, any APIs, what we can integrate into that. So there will be that. And then it will execute what they plan. What it plan, it will execute that part. And then it decide. Like if let me give you one example. Like if I want to generate one agentic AI system for like PR reviews, pull request reviews. Everyone knows in software industry like there are a bunch of PRs. So what we can do, we can ask a question like I want to review this PR. So what it will do? First of all, it will plan like how I can perform this task, how I can automate that PR review stuff. So it will give the steps. It will give like this kind of steps you can perform to build one automatic agentic AI system. Then what will it do? We need some data, like we need some context for that. Then it will search for that context, like how many file chains are there and what. And then there will be some tool layer, like if in our pipelines, like there are some third party tools like Sonar, Gas and everything for security reason, then it will call that also. Like if we need to integration of that, then it will call that also. Then it will execute that plan. It will execute the steps which is given by your agentic AI system in planning step. Then the final outcome will be there, like line 47 has a deferred logic, like if you can optimize this test case better and that. So we have a report now. then that agentic AI system decides, like, can I change that? Like, it will ask you also, okay, would you like to make changes into that or like that? And then it will store that context, the context of the first iteration into memory. And then the loops go again and again, and that loop goes on until you get the perfect result, or what we can say that until you get the optimized result for that. So this is the whole agentic AI architecture. Yeah, so here I have shared some real world use cases, that code reviewer which I have talked, similar kind of that. Like we can create one customer support agent, like on which we can just query our problems. And what would it do? Like it would check that inventory and get back to you, and it will say like this is the problem and this is the solution for that. And there are like just 3 tools, like no coding is needed and the prompt answer is ready with you. Then yeah, when we are working with the data, there is like ETL. Everyone knows about ETL. It is like extract, transform, and load pipeline, ETL pipelines. So let me just imagine that your ETL pipeline will break at like 2 a.m. and then on duty, like on page engineer get to get a call for that. And at that time that engineer is in panic, like at 2 a.m. what break which we built years ago, that could be the problem. Then we can create one intelligent system, like it will find the root cause of that, and it will also give you the summary of the risk mitigation, summary to mitigate that problem. So how we optimize this? It now that on duty page the software engineer wakes up, and it wakes up with not the panic, but it will wake up with the diagnosis and all the summary what he need to fix. And then the fix time will be reduced by 60%. So this kind of cool stuff and crazy stuff we can build. Yeah. So how many from you feel like that AI is not my domain? How many of you? No one. So I can guess that everyone is already building and everyone is already doing stuff for that. Okay, so but I have something for the people who is building also. Yeah, so I already tell that what is shift happening, what is the shift which is happening right now, and how we need to move, and how we need to change ourselves, and how we need to upgrade ourselves. So this, everyone have that myth like AI is only for data science, but we already seen like that CEO is using that AI into day-to-day life, that developer is also using. So we just not need to shift, we just not need to change our job role, we only need to expand our role, expand ourselves into the role which we are building right now. So AI is built by cross-functional team, not only by data scientists. Everyone knows that like backend is equal to CRUD. Like backend is equivalent to CRUD APIs. Like there is create API, update API, delete API, like. But the way I have shown you the architecture, we can expand our backend to intelligent system, using which we can make a system that is not respond, that will just not only respond, but it will give you the response which is decision driven. So we need to move our shift from that. Yeah, so many of you guys can say that like how, Aneri, this is all the thing which you told is good, but how we can build that, like how we can start. So for that also, I want to say that just you need to start. First of all, you need to start to build. Yeah. So my next slide is for these. So you guys can scan this QR, and I have shared some wonderful resources for you. So which I have used for my journey also. I'll show you the exact page what I have built for you guys. Here I have curated some wonderful free resources for you guys. So there are some YouTube channels, some blogs, and some articles also, which you can explore at your pace, and you can just build on that. So I have created the whole roadmap here. If you guys want to build things into AI, and if you guys want to explore those parts, so you can just follow this roadmap and you'll learn at your pace. Yeah, so I want to leaving you guys with this quote. The builders of tomorrow are the one experimenting today. So I want you guys to start explore into AI, give it at a shot. You just don't need to be that consumer of AI. I want you to guys learn and build by yourself your small use case, small real world problem, which you can make into production ready agent, and from which you can build startups. Like in Silicon Valley, we can see that like there are lots of 12 years, 14 years techie who are building the whole startup, and it's AI driven. So it's not just think that you can't do it. You can do it. You just need to start. So with that, I am concluding my session. Thank you guys for being a lovely audience.